Hey, this is Joe Price. I just wanted to show you how to help with our Skagit project. We've found about 2,000 people that lived in Skagit for which we have a record hint for a death record for people on the tree that don't have a death date. So we're going to be trying to use this information to find the death year of people on the tree. Finding death information on the tree is really helpful. It helps us link to obituaries and death certificates and cemetery records. So we really want everyone in our database to have some death information. So let me show you how to do this. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so right here is the sheet. So you'll just pick, you sign up, and you can sign up 20 at a time or however many you want to do. These go actually pretty quick. Though you'll see sometimes you run into challenging things. So this first one's pretty easy. You can look and see all the information lines up really well. You know, these are some pretty rare names: living in Skagit, died in Skagit. So you can see over here, resident Skagit, died in Skagit. Everything lines up really well. So I just hit compare. I bring the information over, and then just notice here I can see that she was born. So this would be a nice thing to change in SourceLink. It would be nice if I could pull those over too, like you do in the duplicate screen, but that's fine. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to attach that, attach the parents. Okay, and I'm just going to come back here to Lily, and I'm going to click on her place where she was born, and then I remembered that it was Burlington. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, so that one's all done, and so then I can just mark it done. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll kind of open up a whole bunch at once, but right now I'll just do one at a time. Okay, so you can see here, this is a case in which the death date was already there for the focus person, so this is probably giving us a hint for one of the parents. So let's just make sure everything here looks good. We could bring over the burial date, but actually I'm just going to attach this record. And then notice that we can attach this record, we can attach this record, and then because I guess we don't have to attach that one, but it's helpful just for completeness. And then we can hit change, come down here to Charles. So now he's our focus person, and then we'll attach his wife. Okay, so that's pretty much. So we've done the hint, so we're good. Okay, let's just do maybe one more, maybe two more. Okay, so on this one here we are in SourceLinker. Now this is a little harder to tell right away. You got Hilda Alberg. Whatcom is right next to Skagit, so everything so far is pretty good. Let's take a look at this Find a Grave record. So notice here we have some really good record information on Find a Grave. Now the question is this person on Find a Grave the same as this person right here? So Family Search has a hint that thinks it is, and their hints are usually right. But let's take a look on an Ancestry and see what we can find. So what I'm going to look for is the record right here. So notice she was in the 1920 census in Skagit. I'm going to look for that record. So here she is. She's a patient. She's married, and so it looks like she's living, in some kind of institution or needleworks. That's interesting. Okay, so let's. Notice right here I can look at some public member trees. And so let's take a look at this one. This one didn't have anything really connected to Washington, but this one did. So let's take a look and see what they think. Okay, so right here, so notice here's our Hilda Alberg, 1886 Sweden, living in Snohomish, which is also right next to Skagit. And here she is living with her husband Julius. So here's my guess of what's going on. Is here she is as a patient. Notice she's married. That was kind of the key clue. Is I actually think in this case Hilda's in the census twice. Okay, so this one's I haven't seen this one happen very often. So in this case, then what I would do is I would bring this information over here, and my guess is that Hilda is already on the tree, but we'll know that here in just one second, right when we fix a couple things about her. Okay, and I bet once we put in her birth info, we'll probably find a possible duplicate. Okay, and so notice we put that in. Let me see, I didn't quite get it right. I'm going to keep that the way it is. Okay, and then notice now that possible duplicate shows up, and then we can merge ID. Okay, so I'm going to actually switch sides right here. So we keep the one that was already there, and we hit yes, continue. I'm not 100% right that I'm correct on this one, but I think there was enough clues to indicate that these were the same person and that she was listed with her husband and also listed as a patient in that institution. Okay, so that one's done. And so that's how it is. Each one's just a little bit different. So let me just try one more. just to see what we get. And again, most of the work you're going to be able to do right here in Source Linker. So this is another pretty easy one where you can see everything is lining up really well. You can see Lyman. Again, we're going to copy the date, bring these pieces of information over. We'll attach the mom, attach the dad, and then I'm going to come back here. You remember how I copied that date? I'm just going to put that date in right here. And then one last thing is anytime you're on the profile page and you see any census records sitting over here, always attach the census records. Don't worry about the marriage or death records. You can if you want, but we're going to be focused particularly on making sure that everyone has a death date and then they're attached to all the censuses during their lifetime. Great. So I hope you have a good experience helping with this project. The main goal here is to use these record hints to help us assign more death dates to people living in Skagit County. Death dates, again, help us link to death records. They also help us know which censuses we need to find them in. So if someone was born in 1907 and died in 1932, then we need to find them in the 1910, 1920, 1930 census. So we know that someone is census complete by having a death date. So thanks for your help with this project. And again, each one's a little bit different. It's going to draw out your best family history skills. If you ever hit one that you don't know what to do, you can put a 0.5, and those are ones that we can have someone else come and check.